How's everybody's week been? Ben survived the heat. Business is going very well. We had a great August, and we have a pipeline for September that looks really, really good. It's one of our top 3 August in Keller Williams Larchmont history, I believe. We've got a lot of closings. A lot of new agents joining. Excited to have them. A lot of energy starting new businesses. Let's see what we got here. Side by side. Gives me a better picture. Hey Rob, how you doing today?
I am great.
For some of you, while we're warming up here, I was going to get on the morning call this morning, but I got sidetracked with Susan Rose, who called me to tell me that Dave Jenks had passed away. And for those of you who have been around for a considerable amount of time, you might remember Dave. Dave Jenks was really, really a special human being. He was Gary's writing partner. He wrote the MREA together with Gary, and he, in a time when Gary is a very charismatic human being. He's such a force of nature that sometimes he forgets how to be. Forgets that we're all human beings, right? And with different kinds of idiosyncrasies and challenges. That's a little hard, but Dave, in those early years, Gary has really learned how to be more empathetic, I think, over the years. But Dave, in those early years, was Gary's the yin to Gary's yang. And really an amazing man. Like I said, he wrote the MREA with Gary. You see it down the bottom there. It says with Dave Jenks and Jay Papasan. This is Jay. Jay was really the editor for that, but all the concepts and developing the models and the organization of it was definitely Gary and Dave. And so I just wanted to recognize Dave as being, I think I told Susan that Dave was probably the reason why, and I use this in a euphemistic way, that I fell in love with Keller Williams, that I believed the real value proposition of Keller Williams, because he was such an authentic, an amazing man, right? I just wanted to take a moment to recognize him. He has a bunch of YouTube videos that are really compelling. If you ever want to look him up, it's Jenks is his last name. But he has a legacy of motivation and inspirational videos and the such. Even if you followed him on Instagram and Facebook. Yeah, he's a cool, very, very cool guy. Very, very
fantastic instructor.
Yes, amazing instructor. Totally agree, Josephine. Absolutely, without a doubt. All right, let's get started with. So I'm grateful to have had Dave in my life in my early career. Right, is I guess what I'm trying to say. Who else out there has something to share? Tell me something good.
Well, you might know this, but I had a sale and then my client had a lease back, and she's finally done with the lease back. It was like the closing that went on forever, because she had to, 3 weeks to move
A
from
sale,
one
a buy, and a lease back.
Right, and the lease back is done. Her stuff is out of there. it's
Yeah.
swept clean and the new owners are finally in. So
They're
that's a
in.
lot.
They moved in.
Well, I don't know if they're in, but
Yeah.
it's theirs.
It's
now,
on them.
You know, it's on them. Anything else is on them.
Yeah.
I'm very happy about that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's and probably one of the better case scenarios in selling, buying, lease back, transition, and all the timing involved in that. It's a tedious tightrope walk, to say the
Yeah.
least. And believe it or not, Tim, I think yours was one of the better experiences that I've heard of.
Really. Well, but I have to say, yeah, okay, we want one of the better experiences, but it was tight because we had that glitch in the middle where the condo that had been completely renovated was done without permits. So at the last, not the last, but the condo, the HOA board said, yada, yada, we've got to have these permits. They got to be in place before we're going to let the sale go through. Sidebar, they had no authority to do that. But anyway,
really?
yeah, they had no authority to do that. They're not a party to the escrow. They can't hold up an escrow. They're not a party to it. Anyway, they can
They can't put
boatload of crap, I'm sure. But
yeah.
they can't put a condition on escrow. Yeah, on a condition on closing. But anyway, all the permits were finalized. The final permit was finalized like at 11 o'clock and we closed at 12, something like that. It was like crazy. It was nuts. But anyway, yeah, all the dominoes fell as they should. They were teetering for a couple of seconds, but they eventually fell. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
and
it was
so
very good.
just
It was
encapsulate. So they Flipper did this did a condo townhouse flip in Marina del Rey that Tim's client was buying. When the listing went up, the HOA board saw the pictures and they said, "Hey, we see that you did some things."
a little more extensive than what we were told.
Yeah. Could you send us over the permits for that? And so we engaged Tim engaged in the purchase, knowing that the work had been non-permitted, and there was a willingness from the buyer, correct or incorrect, to be okay with that.
Yes. Yeah. No,
Right.
we were okay with it.
Yeah.
The work seemed to be done well, good quality. We'd had an inspection. There were a couple of things that were called out, but by and large, it seemed like it was done pretty well. Yeah.
Right. And inside the box of a condo, it's a little more predictable, and the variables are less. But still, the optimum situation would be all that work was permitted, really, to maintain value, because she would have to tell any potential buyer in the future, if she went to go sell it, that it was non-permitted work, right? So the HOA red flags it and says, "Hey, we're not going to approve the sale unless you get it permitted. So show us the permits." And so they did a last minute rush and got both plumbing and electrical permits in a matter of 2 or 3 weeks, right?
Yeah, like 2 weeks, easy, just
Yeah.
2 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, and the electrical had to come back 2 or 3 times. 3 times.
3 different inspectors. And each one
So-
says, that looks good, but now what's this other thing over here? So you never know, what's good for one guy might not be good for the other. Yeah, it's crazy.
And so,
But anyway, all good that ends good, right?
there's certain things we learned. We learned that, permits can be gotten after construction has been done, right?
Mhm.
Especially if the builder is confident that it was done within the, with the standards of it being done. So don't let anybody tell you any differently, and in a fairly timely manner.
Yeah, they were able to expedite it. I don't know how, but they were.
So now the client gets a bonus, really. I mean, it's a bonus that it's all been permitted.
100%. Yeah, no, it's much better for her now. 100%.
And is that in alignment with what Rich, that the HOA cannot put a lien, or well, it wouldn't be a financial lien, but can hold up the sale of the property due to non-permitted work?
Yeah, I mean, because they can get it at close of escrow, I mean, you mean for not like somebody who's
So
behind?
Tim was saying that in arrears, we understand now that the HOA really couldn't hold up the escrow.
No, because it would be, the lien would be satisfied by the sale of the property. So why would they hold it up?
Right. They were
No,
holding it up
here,
because
They were
they wanted
holding it up?
proof.
These were the exact words in the letter or email from the HOA. We will not allow the sale to be completed until we see these permits, until copies of these permits are
Oh,
provided.
permits. Oh,
Yeah.
oh. Well, what had been done? I mean, that's
Plumbing and electric work. Yeah. And what the escrow officer went to her supervisor and said, this is what I'm being told. And the supervisor says, they're not a party to the escrow. They can't make the permits become a condition of escrow. They're not a buyer nor a seller.
That's true, but there probably was something in the CCNRs that any modification to the building must be permitted, number one, and then they can ask to see that. I'm sure. I think that's where the issue was, is the modification of the building,
Yeah.
and for the safety of everybody else around.
Of course. And I think what would have happened is they could have gone through the sale, but then bang, all that responsibility would fall on the new owner.
Right. So
Rather
then
than
that's the pressure to the
that was
new
the
owner.
crux.
Hey,
Right.
go ahead and close, but now it's your problem.
Right.
Yeah, I just didn't do a deal, Tim, because of a similar situation, but the HOA had levied fines on the owner for not following CNRs, not getting approval, and not going through the proper process. So the way it was going to work in that case, since it was a dollar issue, is there we could have closed, but there would have had to have been a holdback of his proceeds from escrow until the HOA litigation regarding it all was satisfied, or he would have to return the unit back to what they wanted it to be, because it was blatant CCNR things, like he put hardwood floors on the upper floor in a 1966 building, which he wasn't allowed to do.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No,
So just didn't.
it's an interesting
My
equation.
client
Something.
didn't buy the unit because it was just, there was too much of it. But I mean, I was under the impression they absolutely could. I mean, they could say, sure, you could buy it, but you're going to pull out your washer and dryer. You're going to have to pull up your hardwood floors and put down carpeting. I mean,
And pay this fine.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. No, they have some muscle in it, for sure. Luckily for Tim, there was a very graceful developer. I mean, they must be new, because they seem to have handled it. They didn't push back, right? You'll get a bunch of these guys who will just say, "Hey, it is what it is. You want it or you don't want it." Boom. And it seemed like both of these guys, that they were willing to do the work.
Exactly.
They were
Hey,
willing
Tim.
partners in the deal.
Tim, real quick, I asked on the chat, it wasn't a co-op? Okay.
No, it wasn't a co-op.
That would have,
No.
yeah,
No.
so they might have been able to stop it in a co-op.
Well, that's different, because
Yeah.
co-op is you own a portion of a whole.
Shares.
Yeah.
This is an independent. This is a separate
Yeah,
APM.
I've sold a few co-ops that can be very precarious. Yeah.
Well, it's a collective ownership.
Hey guys, this is Van with Claremark. Yeah, I just want to confirm exactly what you guys are saying is totally true. I mean, at the end of the day, if HOA finds out something that's part of the CCNR that you guys, or it was violated by somebody, that's something, and if they levy it or they put a lien on it, then that's going to be the responsibility of the new owner, unfortunately.
Well,
So
does it have to be a financial lien, or excuse me?
it doesn't have to be.
Does it have to be a financial lien? Could it be satisfy a certain?
The lien doesn't have to be financial lien.
Yeah.
There's something called a substandard lien as well. So that's something that we don't know what the dollar amount is going to be, till after the fact anyway. So
Got it.
it's best to get this stuff figured out before closing. Especially if we as a title company know about an issue, then we definitely will not close. And if we do close on it, we're going to have to make an exception that this is going to stick with the property until it gets figured out.
Got it.
Yeah.
Not to rush you off this subject, but our buddy Rich has to move on to another experience. So let's jump right into Rich. How you doing, Rich?
Well, thank you. Thank you for indulging me. We all learn by everybody else's mistakes, I find. So I wanted to give you a heads up. An agent at one of my other offices, she was preparing a property for sale. There was a tenant in it, and the tenant was like difficult and was trying to get something out of the landlords, basically, and kept saying this was wrong with the property, that was wrong with the property. The landlords brought in vendors. The main complaint was the heater. The vendors came in saying, hey, it's old, but it still works. But there was like 5, 6, different companies that came through there. So, but all said, it's old, but it works. So eventually the tenant moves out, the house is sold. But when the seller filled out the TDS and the SPQ, they made no mention of the heater, and the agent on their Avid made no mention of the heater. So cut to a few weeks after close of escrow, the tenant, who never gave up their keys, comes by the house and tells the new owners all about the problems she had with the property. So that became an issue. So I want to stress that if you know something that happened and your clients don't put it in the SPQ or TDS, we can't tell them how to fill it out, but you can nudge them and say, hey, remember this happened. But if they still don't want to do it, it still needs to go in your Avid, because you have knowledge of it. You may have a client who's not happy about it, but say, hey, Mr. Client, this is a material fact. It's for your protection, because if they should ever come back, you may be liable for getting them a new heater. I mean, the thing was 30 years old, and the inspector itself said it was, the life expectancy was 15 to 20 years, and this was a 30-year-old unit. But still, because there was knowledge of vendors coming to there and servicing this, it became an issue, and it actually became an ethical issue for my agent. The other thing that I want to stress,
Rich?
yeah.
What was the recourse?
Well, she was brought up on a grievance was filed by the homeowners saying that she withheld information, and she was found, in violation of Article 1 and 2 of the Code of Ethics. Now, I kept saying to the buyers, this is a buyer-seller issue. You should be talking to the sellers. You should be going after the sellers. All along, I was saying that. They never went after the sellers. They even put it in their request for repair. They asked for a new system. And the seller said no. So it's
about the recordation of more than anything else. And this is actually like a better case scenario where you actually have, where everybody really has the information about the heating system. It just was not disclosed by the agent.
Right. And that's the important thing. And the other thing I want to bring up is that for those of you who work with investors, and that investor you list with that investor, those TDSs and SPQs from the previous purchase, you should be turning over to the new buyers. and any inspection reports, because I have another case. I have an actual E&O case right now where all these reports were never turned over to the new buyers, even though the sellers had them. They never were turned over, and it's really a big issue. Yeah, Tim, I see your hand.
Yeah, the question is this. So someone buys a property. It's a mess. They fix it up, and 6 months later, they sell it.
Mhm.
They need to give the transfer disclosure and seller property questionnaires that they
Sure.
got 6 months earlier,
Sure.
even though they've, say, rectified all these problems.
Absolutely. I mean, because this particular flipper supposedly rectified the issue with the foundation, but the previous buyer was never given these reports. So they never knew what to look for. So they never knew if they did it right, or, just the mere absence of it is an issue. I mean, you should, even if it isn't a flip, if you sold something in the last 3 years, to you represented a buyer, and then they turn around and they're selling it, and you still have those within the last 3 years, because you're supposed to keep records for the last 3 years, you should be giving that stuff, because it's a material fact. And basically you're saying, this is, when we did it 3 years ago, this is what it was. Do your own investigations.
Right.
And on the SBQ and the TDS, the seller will disclose what they've done in the 3 years or whatever. Because what happens in the flip situation is that, hey, I never lived in it. The investor, they're not exempt.
Of course.
But I never lived in it. No. But
Really?
there may be stuff in the original TDS and SBQ that really should be disclosed. An
Hey,
issue with a
Rich.
neighbor.
Oh,
You don't
sorry.
know.
Does if you represent a seller and they're just putting sold as is, does that just cover everything basically?
Absolutely not. They're still under the obligation to disclose material facts that that affect that property.
Got it.
Everything is
Sold-
sold as is.
sold as is.
My biggest pet peeve is I love these counter offers from listing agent. Property is sold as is, will not make any repairs, blah, 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 blah. It means absolutely nothing, because in the RPA, it says it's sold as is. That doesn't remove the right for the buyer to do an inspection and to ask. Buyer can always ask. And there's a line on the top of the request for repair. The seller does not need to respond to this request. They don't have to respond. So if your seller, it's nice to respond and say, I'm not going to do anything, but the seller's under no obligation to respond. So if you don't get a response, there's your answer.
Yeah.
And then when you
Yeah.
get the notice to perform, there really is your answer. So yeah. So, and
As is a statement of position, right?
Yeah.
It's a statement of intent. It's like, hey, we're not doing anything.
right,
It doesn't, you don't give up any rights to inspect and to Rich's point, to ask for remedy or compensation.
right. And one more thing that I want that goes along the lines of repairs. I think it was last week, Brian was nice enough to send out these forms that was given by legal, and one of them was the vendor advisory and whatnot. I want to stress that handymen in the state of California, there's a threshold of $500. Anything over $500, you've got to use a licensed and contracted and bonded individual to do that repair. And $500 goes like that. So just be careful when recommending handymen as to what they're doing,
Right.
because there is that threshold.
And Rich, what are the legal implications for us if we don't, if the handyman is not licensed, or
Well,
I
there's
mean,
no
where
legal
should we be
implication
where
for
should we
us
be in that
because-
equation?
because it's all on the seller or the buyer, or the buyer who did that work.
Right.
But the implication is, hey, you never told me this, Mr. Agent, and you're my agent. And so now I have to pay these damages to this person because of this. So now I'm going to go after you. That's the problem.
How about if a seller who has had non-permitted handyman work done or non-licensed handyman work done? Do they disclose in the disclosure that they?
It's called disclose. I mean,
Yeah.
really.
Interesting.
I mean,
Yeah,
you
that's a
know,
new one.
I teach it when I do a class on the Avid. The purpose of an Avid is to talk the buyer out of buying the property. It's not a marketing piece. Everybody thinks it's a marketing piece. It's marble countertops, hardwood floors. No, it's cracked hardwood, cracked countertops, scratches in hardwood floors. You want to find every single thing that is wrong with that property, because you want to discourage this. They need to know, oh, hey, I didn't see that. Let me investigate that a little more. So yeah.
And when things are disclosed, it's a much easier conversation than when things are discovered.
Right.
Right. You can have a neutral conversation about something and has been fixed, opposed to something that has been found
Right.
and has been fixed. Right. The integrity that is lost in that little nuance is huge.
Right.
Now it's like, oh, we better get somebody in there. Oh, yeah, there was a problem. We fixed the problem. This is how we fixed the problem. Boom.
Right.
Opposed to, it looks like something was fixed here. Was there a problem? And how was it fixed? And, we should get somebody out there to take a look at it.
Absolutely.
Creates a conversation of distrust or a disconnect in trust.
Yeah.
May I ask
Rich,
you a question?
Okay.
Sure.
Hi. How about something like you found out during inspections the house wasn't bolted? Do you need to add that to your Avid, or is the disclosure from the general inspector and the foundation person verifying that okay, or do you need to repeat it?
The house wasn't what? I'm sorry?
Bolted.
Bolted. Oh. I mean, if it comes up in the inspection, that's fine. I mean, I don't know,
Bolting is
many
not a
people
standard, is
really
it?
know what, I mean, my first house was a 1928 house and I had to get it bolted before they would insure it. So, but I had no idea about it. So I think the fact that, the house wasn't bolted, if it comes through in the inspection, I think that's sufficient, because it's been,
It's not a requirement, is it, Rich? Bolting in the house?
in some houses it is it is a requirement sometimes
Really?
to bolt it. Like in my case, it was so old that they wanted
Or an
it
insurer.
bolted in order to insure it, right?
Right. So check with your insurer.
Yeah.
But as
That's
per the city and most local jurisdictions, it's not
Right, exactly.
it's not a requirement.
Unless
So
we,
in that-
we had another house that we did a renovation and the part of the foundation was replaced and that part had to be bolted. That had to be brought up.
Of course, that's the new
standard,
that's the new standard in construction. Yeah. Does that make sense, Andrew? Disclose,
Yes, thank
disclose,
you.
disclose.
Yes, disclose.
Right.
Disclose.
You see something, say something.
You're right. Yes.
Rich, thank you. As
Thank
usual.
you.
Great help.
Happy selling.
Yes. Next, we have, where are we going from here? Oh, we've moved on past that. Happenings this week. Make it a little larger. Rob, how you doing today?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Yeah, I think we have a slide right after this. Can we get to that one?
Slip on over, Carly.
There we
There
go.
you go.
Okay, so the coaching tip for the day. Two perspectives here. First, pending home sales, and this is what you're looking at from 2012. This is the national average when you look at it. And so it shows everything that's going on. And then even it goes up to right now as of last month. And you see that little red arrow showing that there's a dip, which is very typical of this time of year. And we talked about this a little bit this morning at the 9 a.m. meeting, that when you, well, that disappeared. When you're looking at this, thank you. You're looking at a lot of times we're hearing in the news or people just talking one-on-one, oh, I heard it's dipped. I heard sales have gone down. I've heard this. And remember, you know, the news now a lot of time is they're searching, they want to make sure you stay tuned. So they give you a lot of clickbait so they can sell their advertising. It's facts that we want to talk to them about. It's typical of this time of year, but then also you look at what the healthy normal level is, and we're still way above that. You know, if you look at that level, that's where things are at. We're in a very healthy seller's market right now. You know, the inventory that's there, but this is the national average. So if we go to the next slide, one thing I want to point out, that's a perk of being part of Keller Williams Larchmont, is we have a subscription to Altos data, and the Altos research will go ahead and you can put in a zip code, you can put in a city. So if you want to look at one particular city, let's say you wanted to look at Long Beach, great, you can look at all of Long Beach. But as many of you know, North Long Beach is greatly different than beachfront Long Beach. And so you probably, it would behoove you to use the specific zip code for Long Beach and bring that in. Now, this is typical of Hancock Park. This is our zip code here, and it shows you the days on the market. I recommend that you use both of these as you're talking to your sellers. So you let them know what the big picture is, but then you let them know what the micro picture is too. And of course, with the Altos, you can look up any zip code, like I said, or any city and give them that information there. It helps when you have a conversation, because then this is the statistical information. This is what's happening in the market. It changes the conversation where it's not, this is my opinion and it's me versus you. This is just what I'm reporting to you. You can read the information yourself and let's have a conversation about it. So keep in mind that we're in the fall quarter, that this is some of what we want to make sure we stay well aware of. We have conversations, and we're that resource of value much farther beyond the websites out there and the news media that's out there.
Yeah, and it gives you a up to the moment snapshot. It's really, really great.
Yes.
Great. Thanks, Rob. Thank you for and anybody who's not on that morning call. I don't know what to tell you. It's you know, it's an open door to everyone, and still everyone doesn't get on it, and it's you know, I don't know. You're missing out. It's a fabulous experience every time I'm there. And I've been in this business for 20 years, and I get something from it every time I'm there. Every time. Great conversation. All right. Rise and shine with us at 9 a.m. All right. What do we have next there, Carly?
And next one, I just want to keep a tip, and I'm sure, I don't know if Rich is still on the line, but last week I went through the new RPA training class, which was a fabulous 4 hours. That was so exhilarating. It took coffee and espresso to make it through the whole thing. But there's a lot of things about the contract that look significantly different. This is the first 2 pages. But once you actually dive into it, you also realize some of it's really not that different. What the nice thing they've done is they front loaded a lot of the information that normally we have to dig for. Well, wait, where's the contingency for this? That's right, that's on this page. Well, wait, where's this deadline? That's on this page. Where's this? What they've done is they put it all up front, and then the explanations fall afterwards. So it's still the full contract,
but now it's much easier for everybody to follow along. There are some definitions and some things that have changed in there and some clarification. I just want to bring this up now because I know that the LAR is going to have classes on it. We are going to have classes on it. I would highly recommend to take the classes because once you walk through this, it's so much easier to understand than just looking at it. They gave me the RPA, which was a lovely, I believe, 16 pages of just the RPA, which we're kind of used to. But the explanation book that came with it was 114 pages. So unless you love doing that late night reading, I would recommend that as soon as a class is available, you take it.
Yeah, Rich will be teaching the board. Also, I printed these up. The timeline is either the beginning or end of December that it will switch over. Is that correct? Or is that
December?
December. December. Yeah. So I printed up a bunch of them. They're at the front desk. Grab one and read it at your leisure. You have a couple months to absorb. Yeah. No big conceptual changes.
No.
Is there a PDF that somebody could put in the chat?
I can do that now.
Thank you.
All right. Excellent. Thanks, Rob. Carly. Rob's teaching Intro to Coaching at 2 p.m. today for all the new agents. Jump right in there just to learn about the coaching program, coaching and mentoring program. All right. Also, Headshot Day is Friday, September 24th, $99 for 2 edited shots. That's at the Greater Los Angeles Board of Realtors. Must RSVP with Cameron for details. All right. Thanks, Cam. Some upcoming classes. This week, Grace is going to be teaching a class today from right after this this little endeavor here. She's going to be teaching a class about the local regulations and guidance, and also walk you through the ClearMark app that gives you up to the minute title information on any particular property that you're looking at anywhere you are in the universe, right?
And how to read a prelim? Yes.
I'm still fuzzy.
That's
Thanks,
okay.
Grace.
All right. Thank you. See you soon.
All right. Okay. Also, I'm teaching prospecting tomorrow at 11:30 to 12:45 for our night class. And then Rob's going to be teaching marketing, same time frame on Friday, 11:30 to 12:45. And the lovely Tracy Bates will be teaching seller appointments or seller listing appointments. Is that correct? 11:30 to 12:45. That's how I would interpret it. And the lovely Star Jasper on Tuesday, buyer consultations. So moving from building your business to working in your business, right? Buyer's consultation, seller's consultation, very, very important conversations and skill sets that you need to hone to developing a successful conversion rate, right? Also tech for this week. Oh, I'm gonna have to, it's a little one. I'm on my laptop, so I'm gonna have to beef that up a little bit. Tomorrow's the 16th, so it's listings and landing pages tomorrow. Landing pages are a great little tool that you can set up for your clients in Command. They are, like Netflix type pages, like landing pages where it adapts to your wants and needs, and as your clients use it, the artificial intelligence makes assumptions and pushes them things they might like. Database management on on Friday, and then we jump over to Facebook on Command, Facebook ads on the 20th, that's Monday. Command overview always on Tuesday, and what's that? Teams and the Command platform on Wednesday, next Wednesday. Excellent lineup, Scott. Next, we have Life by Design. Sonia leads the Friday on Fridays, September 17th. What time is that? We're not sure. I believe it is. I'm not going to guess, but we'll get that out in our. We will get that out in our daily update. It's for Friday. Life by Design. It's focused on.
So
creating
it's
talent. Almost had you, Cam. You shut it off. You got muted.
got excited there, you guys. It's at 9 a.m. on Friday.
All right. Thank you, sir. Cameron's going to be you want to talk about this, Cam?
Hi, you guys. So hey, good morning, everyone. Hope everyone's doing okay. So I'm teaching a class on social media design, and I'm gonna do it like a lab format. So you guys can come to me with any issues you guys might be having with campaigns. If you guys are trying to do something that's effective and trying to pull your database or just try and draw some eyes, this is a great class to do that. It's also a lot of fun. Last month, I taught a class on just trying to create an identity for yourself, and this is sort of building on that. So if you attended the last session, highly recommend this one. So yeah, hope to see you guys there.
Excellent. Thanks, Cam.
Welcome.
Also, action plans 135, part 2. Yeah, this is the one I'm teaching on the west side, right? No.
No, this is part
This is the
2 to your
actual part
class
2.
from here.
We're going to be taking it over. Okay. So part 2, if you missed the first one, jump in. It's okay. I'll catch you up. 135 is about, the roadmap. It's about building your roadmap. New agent orientation, Thursday, the 23rd for Cam, 10:30 a.m. for all the new agents. So I'll walk you through a bunch of the different value propositions that we have as an office and as a company. And again, $1 million a month with Command and Facebook. $1 million sales a month is, for us, in the markets that these people are in, you have to understand we're an anomaly. They should really focus on units, because that $1 million probably represents 4 to 6 units per month using Facebook and Command. 3-part series. All right, core services. Andy, I think Andy is not able to be with us today.
Andy's out at a training for today, so she's not going to be here. But I am going to be dropping an article she shared with me and Joey that was really cool. It just goes over diversity in the workplace and also in the housing market as well. It's a really good read.
Excellent. Thanks, Cam. Thank you, Andy. Raha, is Raha here today? I thought she emailed me also, but we'll go to Ven and Grace. How's that? Hey, guys.
Grace, anything? Hey, guys.
Grace is going to be teaching the class
Yes,
in about 15, 20 minutes, right?
Yeah, yep. And I see a lot of people using the Title Toolbox app, which is really good. I see the new agents on it as well. Let me and Ven know if you guys have any questions on it. And feel free to email cs@clearmarktitle.com for any farms or property profiles as well.
Great. Cameron shared that in the chat. Thank you. All right. Next, we have get into the juice. All right. birthdays first. Byron Field, John Dickey, I saw you on there. Happy birthday, John. You have Jen May. Also, Terry Gerger and Ethan Foreman all have birthdays this week. Happy birthday, you guys. It was a late week for birthdays, late week for births in the past. Congratulations. I see a lot of closings this week. Got Champ and Steve on 130th. You got the Barentine Group on Harper and Chevy Chase. Stefan on Grand, congratulations. Linda Roth Burrell on Mount Vernon. Duran on Coronada. Congratulations. Tiffany Rachel and Tiffany on Chandler and Neldome. Also Tiffany Park and Paul Yu on Harvard. Congratulations, working together on that. Josh Mendoza just picked up his check on Wilshire Boulevard. Christina Kim on Kingston and Christina and Day on Virgil. Oh, great closings this week, you guys. Great week in real estate. Congratulations. New escrows. That's this is our future closings, right? Paul Yu has 2, Wilshire and Oxford that he jumped into. Joseph Lee on Hawthorne, Angela Bond on El Paso, Roseanne on 3rd Avenue, Jim Cohn on Kalita Way, Carlos and Yvette Millman on Smiley, Rab Marin on Umbria, Marianne Simon on Saugus, also Tiffany and Rachel on Moore Park. Wendy has a property on South Fuller, Byron again on Chestnut, Kalina on Sepulveda, congratulations, another one for the Barentine Group. It's a leading indicator of success. Dragona has a couple closed leases this week, as well as Dylan Floyd and Gil Bramblett Group on Blackburn, Heidi Davis on Gower, Rachel on Valencia, and Stephen Champ on Charleston. So a drop off there in the end. Congratulations, you guys. New listings. Starting with the single families. John and Chuck have a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, 900 square foot in North Hollywood for just a smidge under $300,000. It's a great way to get in the game. Right on Coldwater Canyon. They also have a new listing on Stearns, 3 bedrooms, 3 baths, 2,330 square feet for just under $2 million. That's going to go over. Tiffany and Rob Marin in Santa Fe Springs have a 3-bedroom, 3-bath, 1,470 square feet for $595,000. Where is Santa Fe Springs?
Think of like the 605 and the 5 freeway. And the great way Santa Fe Springs is this development. It's a gated community, low HOA, $270 a month.
Wow.
There's a lot of amenities there. 2 swimming pools, barbecue, outdoor shower, outdoor gym area, basketball courts, gated community, and nightly patrol. Everyone has solar in this community. So the other thing is that the electric bill is very low. The home is in perfect condition. We have a lot of activity on it. Offers are due on Friday is when they will be reviewed.
Excellent. All right. The Toy Factory. I think Alex had talked about this last week. Is coming soon. 1 bedroom, 1 bath, 782 square feet for $575,000. Anything to add to that, Alex? If you're on there, I thought. No. Okay. Let's move forward. Nina Chia on Waring, 7659 Waring, 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, 1,034 square feet for $1.275. That's over $1,000 a square foot, but it's a really amazing property. Beautiful, beautiful condo. Some outdoor space. Some leases. On has a lease on Spring. It's 700 square feet, 1 bedroom, 1 bath for 1,885 square feet. Also, David Lubell and Aaron Kerman and Stanley have a 3 bedroom, 1 bath, 1,439 square feet lease for $4,950. Also, Tiffany Chin has a Hudson, 945 North Hudson Avenue, 2 bedrooms, 2 baths, 840 square feet for $2,900. And tell us about your pocket listings. What do you guys, who has any pocket listings or coming soons that they'd like to talk about? No one? Really? All right.
I mentioned it a couple of weeks ago, but I have this coming soon duplex in Hollywood Hills by the Hollywood Bowl. 1 unit's delivered vacant, both of them are about 1,000 square feet. The unit being delivered vacant is completely renovated, 2 beds, 2 baths. Price is going to be about 1.4. Really nice, really sweet. Got a huge deck. That unit is a huge deck. You feel like you're up in a little tree house.
Units rent for
so that
like
should be coming, I'm
34,
thinking
30,
36.
35 to 36.
36 for the one that's occupied, and she just moved in there from San Francisco, so she's actually very happy with that rent. And I think she's probably in till next March 2022. So you've got her paying a good part of your mortgage.
Yep.
And yeah, that should be coming in. What's units being is vacant, it's being painted next week, and then photos and all that stuff. So yeah, figuring the 1st of October.
It's an easy rental and always
Easy rental. Been very good for these guys. They just they've had it 5 or 6 years, and it's just a time to sell and move on and invest their money into something else.
Exactly. They want to use the capital that's been built up, the equity that's been built up on it to buy something else. Yeah.
Yep.
It's not doing them any good sitting there. All right.
Yes.
Anyone else?
Tim, what's the address on that? I have
20
and I'd like to do a drive-by.
2042 North Las Palmas. You won't be able to see a thing from the street because it's just stairs going up.
Yeah, it doesn't do it
But
justice.
I can get you. Yeah, I can get you in there early. Maybe once the painting's done and before the photos.
And we had photos from the last time it was up, right?
Yeah, I do have photos from last time, but it's kind of flipped. The place that's vacant is now occupied, and the place that was occupied is now vacant. But what was the question, Charlotte?
What's the projected rent on the vacant one?
I would say at least the 3,600. I would say maybe you could get a little more for that. I mean, I think owner use would be the ideal use, personally.
This guy's an investor.
36.
Well, it's been a solid investment for these guys, and they bought it from someone that renovated it and then did additional work, so it's in better shape than when they bought it.
Okay, thanks.
Sure.
Great. Anybody else have any pockets or coming soons they'd like to talk about? If not, we will move forward to wants and needs, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Boom. Wants and needs.
I have a difficult need.
No, don't say it's so, Charlotte.
It is. I have the loveliest clients. They're just so sweet, but we're going on 2 years now. They live out of town. They're here through Tuesday. So if anybody has anything coming up that's got charm and a pool, it could be Pasadena, Altadena, Hollywood Hills, Valley Hills, no further west than Sherman Oaks. Nobody talked about anything, but it's 2.2 is their cap. 3 bedrooms.
Doesn't sound
At least 3 bedrooms. It's impossible.
really.
We have seen everything. They've seen everything on market. They've seen everything off market. It's the pool. It's the issue. They want charm because they feel like need an emotional attachment to it. And They're not really, they're older, they're not really in a position to do a ton of work. I mean, they'll do a little.
Right.
And they need 3 bedrooms and she has osteoarthritis. She has to get in the water every day. So she
Yeah.
has a pool, and it's very hard to find something with a pool.
All right.
Don't
All right.
all
Anyone-
cover your properties at once.
Got it. What's anyone else?
Hi, Joy.
Yes. Hey, Day.
Yeah, my previous listing, the Delgado Sherman Oaks,
Yes.
that is showing withdrawn at the moment, but seller is still selling it with the right buyer, right price, 2.5 million. I just posted the note.
Right. Oh, I just saw it. Yeah. Where did it go? It is 15,360 Delgado Drive in Sherman Oaks.
Yes,
Big house.
yes.
How big
big
is
house.
it?
Almost 4,000 square foot. Lot is over 24,000 square foot.
Yeah. And it's newer construction, right?
It's not new, but it's well maintained.
Well maintained. Okay. All right. All right. Thanks, Dave. So anybody
you.
looking in Sherman Oaks, they has off market now, was on the market, off market now. Thanks, Dave. Anyone else have want or need?
I
Sure,
have
Tracy.
2 things. I have a client who's looking to move to Kingsport, Tennessee. So if anyone has a referral out there, I'd rather go to the office first and ask if they know of anyone in that area. I'm not familiar with it at
How
all.
close is that to Nashville?
Oh God. I don't know. I mean, I'll have to look. But he just texted me. It's Kingsport, Tennessee. And
Yeah, I have
also,
a friend in Nashville. That's
well,
as close
maybe
as I get.
ooh, yeah, maybe. I mean, who knows? I'll look at a map or
She
maybe
might know
reach out.
somebody in Kingsport.
Yeah. And then I also, oh,
I actually
sorry.
think it's up near Knoxville. I grew up in Memphis, but I think it's way on the other corner of the state, I believe.
Oh, well, it would help if I probably looked at a map before I announced this, but I just texted him and he just sent it to me. And then also I need some new stagers. Some of the stagers I used to use don't do it any longer. So if people have some stagers that they like, I need to have some give me some new quotes, and maybe even stagers that do staging that isn't necessarily staging, but maybe using the occupant's current furniture and reduction and that type of service. So
Fluff
please,
and stuff.
you what?
Fluff and stuff.
Yeah. So, if someone has people they really like, please text me or send me a message. I'd really appreciate it because I'd like to provide them with a list for this as soon as possible. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Who else
I
do
have
we have?
one last thing. I needed handyman. I need a handyman. Someone for one of the clients that just bought a place and they just need someone to come in and hang pictures. That's
Under
it.
$500 or
Under $500. Yeah. I don't know. It could be $1,000, but it's just hanging pictures. You know how to put a screw in the wall.
500, Tim.
Can I volunteer
well,
my husband to do it for 400?
Sure. Sure.
Love it. Okay. All right. All right. All right. All right. Who do we have now? Anybody else before we go? Don't forget about Grace is teaching the title, how to read a prelim, and going over the app, the ClearMark app, to anyone who's interested right after this, right? We're going to slip right
Starting
into it
now,
again.
y'all. So head on over. We're about to start that class ASAP, and we hope to see you there.
You guys have a great week. Go out there and mess it up, okay? Have some fun. Bye, guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you.